Well, little brother's mad again. Marshall fans cannot accept the reality that we don't care about them and don't care if we play them ever again.
You are Locked On West Virginia, your daily podcast on the West Virginia Mountaineers, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hey, what is up, guys? Welcome back in. My name is Mountaineer Paul. I am your host. Welcome into Locked On West Virginia, baby, where we're talking about Marshall. Yep, we're talking about Marshall. Also got a freshman I want us to watch for. Been watching tape on all the freshmen this week. Came across one that I haven't covered yet. So we got the hot piss meter. We got it all ready for a player in segment 2 that I'll be honest. I don't know how I have overlooked this player, but I guess it's just been so much influx. I feel like an idiot. So we're going to go there. But first, we got to talk about the sponsor for this video. Guys, did you know that FanDuel is where it's at, where you're supposed to be in life? They do it big. If you didn't know, like when it comes to FanDuel right now, new customers can get $150 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins. You can't win if you don't play. Head to FanDuel.com to get started today. And thanks for making Locked On West Virginia your first listen and for being a part of the Locked On Podcast Network. We talk about your team every single day. Well, Marshall fans have chastised me today in an ongoing back and forth, which I do enjoy from time to time. I'm not going to lie. I'm a big arguer / debater, but I don't like to make things personal. I really don't. Like I try to stay out of that because I was always taught intellectually that if you're throwing insults, you're probably losing the argument, right? So, I try to stay away from that. Plus, it's just not that serious to get personal. Like sometimes there's personal history, but that's not the case here. So I'm going to do a little breakdown on what's been going on today. Marshall fans are really upset that we're playing Ohio University and not them. And we're doing a 1-1 with Ohio University and not them. They're so upset over it. I mean, I've talked to literally dozens today, just different little back and forths over this. They can't get past the fact that we don't want to play them or Rich Rod hasn't. These schedules, first of all, these schedules are done so far in advance anyway that Rich Rod's regime has nothing. Like some of these people are trying to say that Rich Rod is scared to play them. Like, come on, man. Rich Rod, like he wasn't even thought of in West Virginia the last 17 years. He has no say on what this schedule is. Ren Baker barely does. This game we're playing with Ohio University, I don't even know if Ren Baker was here when we scheduled that. Could have been Shane Lyons for all I have no clue. I'd have to look into it. So what I did was I kind of broke down some of the things that have been said today. There's a guy named Aaron Perkins that posted a thing on X yesterday. It's kind of what got this started. Let's see if I can find it really quick while we're talking about it. Just not able to accept reality on the highest of levels, I say to you. Like insanity, right? Like, so first of all, he's putting up this thing here, a tribute from West Virginia paper by Fred Miller from 1976. And it is it's not a great article. And I think it's concerning the plane crash, I believe. And, I don't condone making fun of the plane crash. I just don't think that's right. Should not do that. Absolutely. But it's not our fault in this era that this guy from 1976 wrote this. And it certainly doesn't define West Virginia fans. Not at all. They also brought up our burners, who I've had an extensive time with, no doubt. We do have some rough burners. We also have some really good ones. So I don't think, I'm sure, I've ran into a bunch of Marshall ones today as well that were horrible. So, it's just, you can take it however you want to, but this is where it started for me. Did you know it's been 6,419 days since Pitt football took down their little brother as a 28.5 point underdog and ripped their hearts out? Here's an autographed picture of Pitt player Steve Malinchak celebrating another picture of West Virginia football. Fans celebrating late in the game after a celebration penalty against Pitt. Ha ha. They thought they were getting the ball back. Ha ha ha. But they weren't. Ha ha ha. So this is a guy that has an extreme hatred for West Virginia. Fine. Fine. You try to engage these people. Some of the things he has to say are pretty crazy, man. I did a full psychological breakdown on him just for fun, just because I thought it would be fun. Um, but he gets into it. Let me see if I can find it here. One of the things he says is, "Oh yeah, I have it right here." Uh, let's zero. So we'll zero in on the rant. He said, "This has nothing to do with Marshall and everything to do with 45 years worth of absolute hatred for nearly everything your crap institution, outside of a few close friends who fell off the wagon years ago and are fans. I can't stand your colors, your stadiums, your arenas, your coaches, your teams, your city, your better than now attitudes, or anything else. I thoroughly enjoy following your failures and everything from 12/1/07 to Tremaine Mack to Stephen F. Austin, Adventures of Bob Huggins and Holga Buffoon, and everything. So you burn your stupid couches like you fools and stands do. Talk down to your little brother in quotations. We will continue to plug away and do our own thing here. Meanwhile, enjoy taking that day 7,419 days ago when you had everything ripped from your grasp by a school that you hate more than anything. It eats in your stomach if you lose to them in checkers. A school that will always, till the end of time, be able to hold that over your head because you never, and I mean never, will have that chance again. And it tickles my fancy knowing that. You can say you don't care, you can say anything you want, and maybe you're too young to remember it, and that's a shame. But all the rest of you blue and yellow kind remember it, and it hurts them to the absolute core. Go hurt forever. This is a novel of hate, obsessed with the Pit lost, and not even us, not even Marshall. Not Can you imagine being so obsessed over something another team did that's not even you? What in the mental health report is this? Like, I couldn't believe I was reading this. I could not believe I was reading this when I read it. Like to the extent, like, are you really that crazy, dude? Yeah, here it is right here. Here it is right here. Just an absolute wild take. Wild take. But at the end of the day, yeah, that loss hurt at the time. But to say that it still eats at us like that, I just don't know, man. I know it bothers certain sections of the fan base more than others, but to think that we're looking forward to this upcoming year, I don't know. I just think that he thinks it bothers us more than it actually does. My personal opinion, and this is definitely classic little brother kind of syndrome, right? A situation where they want to be rivals with us and can't be rivals with us because they can't hang, and it's similar to kind of how we in Penn State have been over the years, right? Like, we understand that. We accept it on our side that, do we sit there and expect Penn State to play us every year, or do we expect Penn State to accept us as on their level or whatever? No, we understand that we're not most years, and that anytime we play them, it's most likely an uphill battle. Anybody that doesn't acknowledge that doesn't know football. They're in a better position financially. They're in a better position, within the university. They're in a better position recruiting base wise. They're in a better position conference wise. Like, same things we are to Marshall. It's just like, acceptance is the first step of the battle. And unfortunately, they have not gained that yet. So I have some conclusions as to why this is, as a whole, their fan base is so wild about us, and certainly we share a state with them. That's the first part, right? I think it kind of gets overlooked a little bit, the fact that we are in the same state, and that we have always beaten them and everything, and then they had a couple chances to do so, and unfortunately they did not. So I put a poll out earlier, and a few dozen of you guys had voted on it. So what we'll do is I'll go over what I think in the poll, the reasons I believe that they're so mad right now in this moment. So at the concert with Riley Green there a week ago in Huntington, West Virginia, the audience was given a chance, West Virginia or Marshall, and in Huntington, the fans chose West Virginia. So he sang West Virginia beats Tennessee in the lyrics. Hilarious, right? Their fans did not like that, and I called a few out on it. They have nothing to say about it. Um, but here are the reasons I put in the poll. Number two, they're talking about Ohio University because that's their pit, by the way. Historically, like their pit is Ohio U, right? We're playing their pit basically in a one-on-one, and that eats at them a lot. Like, and even I even went so far as to look back 10 years. Ohio University has a better record by about 4 games in over the last 10 years. Over the last 3 years, it gets even worse. It really does. So Ohio University's got 3 straight. They've got a 10, and an 11 win season, 3 straight. I don't think they're going to be that good this year, but they have been really good as of late. But yeah, Ohio University surpassed them. That's the number one, right? I put that up there. I think that's one of the reasons they're all so mad right now. Number two, Charles Huff left them in the dust to go to Southern Miss, which historically should be a worse program than Marshall. And now Southern Miss, if you look, they beat out a ton of Power Four schools in the transfer portal. So he went to Southern Miss and took a lot of Marshall players, some Marshall coaches, and left them, similar to how Rich Rod left us, I would say. So what did they have to do in response to that? Well, they had to hire their second West Virginia guy as a head coach, Doc Holliday being the first that I remember. Maybe there's another in the history I'm not thinking of, but obviously we know Bob Pruitt was their coach for a long, long time, and he ain't walking through that door. Bob Pruitt, I have a lot of respect for. I do. I have a lot of respect for what Coach Pruitt did in that program over the 9 years that he was there. The run they had with Bob Pruitt will probably never be approached again, right? Like it's going to be, if they do, they'll be, that Marshall team would have been in some playoff games, right? Some probably would have made a 16-team playoff or 12-team playoff. They would have gotten some at large bids, especially those couple of those Leftwich teams, maybe one of the Pennington teams. So, I always think, because Bob Pruitt was a classy guy. So I always, and I remember him on those as a Florida defensive coordinator and all that. Anyway, he ain't walking through that door. So they go get Gibby to be their head coach. I think they just realize you can't beat them, might as well join them. Right. So, and then the number one reason that they hate West Virginia is they're 0-12 and Rich Rod won't play them. That's it. 70% of the vote says that's the reason. So I think, I'm not going to sit here and say we're above all this. Like, I don't look down on them like that. I just think that it's a one-sided thing, right? It's one-sided. They hate us. We don't even really like to acknowledge them. It's the thing that's been said for years, right? If we play Marshall and we win, we were supposed to. If we lose, it's an upset. There's very little benefit in it for anybody except the fans. For the universities, for the players, there's very little benefit on West Virginia's side. And even the fans have a lot to lose as far as if West Virginia loses that game, what it does to you. So, yeah, for me, man, I guess it's just one of those things where I just laugh. I have to laugh at it overall because they hate us so much because they ain't us, and they won't ever admit that, but that's the case. That's definitely the case. These Marshall fans hate us because they ain't us. So that's my thoughts on it, guys. Let me know how you feel. I was homeless in Huntington, by the way, at one point in time, and so I know a lot about it. Um, it's definitely not a great city or town at all. It's actually infested with drug addiction and robberies and a lot of displaced people from Detroit, like somebody mentioned in the chat. A lot of people displaced people from Columbus, Cincinnati. Definitely, and that's a lot of towns in West Virginia, to be honest. But Huntington is the worst. I've explained on here, I think, a couple times all the things I went through in Huntington. Um, all the way from having my nose broken with a pistol at gunpoint to being stripped completely naked. Like it was rough there, man. So, while that didn't shape how I feel about the football program necessarily, they're two separate things. The town that the team is in matters as well, right? So Huntington already not a great place to live, So you guys remember when Jamie Oliver went there and said it was I think of the fattest city in America, and I was living there at the time, and I was like, wait, I'm fat. I'm a part of this. It's something I laughed about at the time. Let's go to break. What we'll do on the other side is I got something pretty cool to show you guys. One of the freshmen that came in this year is an absolute dog, or as Pat McAfee would say, absolute dog. We're going to talk about Taylor Brown next, somebody I've overlooked somehow, and I'm embarrassed to admit it. And this episode of Locked On West Virginia going to be brought to you by FanDuel, guys. And when we talk about FanDuel, we got to do it big because summer sports are in full swing. Whether you're about baseball under the lights, golf on the green, or high-stakes soccer action, FanDuel is the best way to make every game more exciting. You've already followed the action, so why not take it a little more and make it a little more thrilling with FanDuel? You can get in on the game while your friends are getting sunburned at the beach, or in my case, my family right now are all in Florida. It's okay. I have my time coming up in a few weeks. New to FanDuel, new customers can bet just $5 and get $150 in bonus bets if that first $5 bet wins. Make sure you check out FanDuel today to get started, Junior. And do it now. Do it yesterday. I'll see you there. All right, segment 2. No do. That's okay, though. No do. I'm going to save it for segment 3. I'm okay for now. All right, so West Virginia, this freshman class is interesting this year. Obviously Scotty Fox, Max Anderson, Tyshawn Dews, Harmony Weaver, Cam Pittsburgh, Philip Bowser, Brandon Hamady, Trevor Bigelow, Brandon Caesar, Wilson Telemack, Taylor Brown, Carter Giuliani, Michael Hasty, Cam Torber, Julian Horton, Chris Philippo, Dwayne Galloway, Kamiris Bomar are the names that I have, right? And there have been some questions as to who was in town, who is playing right now, and all this right now. As far as I know, there's a list of 9 guys that was being tossed around earlier today. As far as I know, all those guys do plan to play. I've reached out to each of them individually, gotten answers. There are varying reasons for why some of these guys aren't on the official roster. And this has nothing to do with the guy we're talking about. I just something I thought about really quick. Guys like to think of a prominent one. I guess probably the most prominent one would be probably Jeff Weimer. So a lot of people wonder because they haven't heard much from him, although he was on the 40-yard dash log from the other day, which let me know he's practicing with the team, playing with the team. I think that we're going to be fine. Some of it's academics. A lot of these guys are moving up from JUCO or lower levels. It's different varying degrees of hard to try to get it. Yeah, Dwayne Galloway. Thanks, Jordan. By the way, Jordan in the chat here. You guys always know I like to promote Jordan stuff. Jordan is one of the best content creators on West Virginia sports. Make sure you check him out over there on Country Roads Webcast. Okay, Taylor Brown is a guy that, I started watching the film on just today. I just wanted to check him out. He was one of my last 2 people to get to. I've still got him, Julian Horton. I want to say Cormerius Bomar, maybe. No, not Bomar. Chris Philippo. Him, Horton, and Philippo, I think, are the last 3 guys that I need to really extensively watch. So I did Taylor Brown today, and then when I watched the tape, I was pretty damn shocked at what I had to see. Honestly. If you look at his profile on Rivals, I don't know how I missed this either. And maybe I don't know. Maybe I was blind or something during this point in time. I have no idea. But a 94 4-star rating, 89 composite 4-star rating. You look at the teams that came after him: Buffalo, James Madison, Marshall, and Memphis. And it just makes me wonder, like, what am I missing here? Why is there not more other teams here reaching out with this kind of score? And I know there are others out there that may have him rated lower, 3-star or what have you, but still, I just, I guess I just missed some of this for whatever reason. And so what we're going to do now is there is a, well, we're going to get to this tape first. Um, we'll get there next. Let's see. Let me exit out of this. We'll go bounce over to the tape side of things now. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you guys the breakdown. And then what we'll do is we'll watch the tape and we'll look for those things on tape to kind of discuss together exactly what I think he is. So let's do that right now. So we're going to pause this for a sec and get over to my breakdown. So this kid is a dynamic stud. Really, he is. He's 6'3", 250 pounds. He shows really solid anchor strength. You know, like when guys go to bull rush him, he really anchors in. And, you know, whether that's, you know, in the run game as far as a defensive lineman, like he is a very good, because defensive linemen have to anchor in as well, right? Against offensive linemen and shed blocks, make tackles. So he, you know, he's got really good strength against the run. And he's going to add some weight. I already hear that he's bigger now anyway, up to like 270 maybe, somewhere in there. He's got exceptional pass rush ability. He's got a 3 technique style, very versatile. He plays multiple spots along the defensive line, but he's going to be a pass rushing specialist in the beginning of his career. He's got a multi-sport athletic background. He was a state qualified wrestler. He was an all-county baseball catcher. And I think he's going to be a multi-year contributor at the Power 4 level with NFL draft upside. Like, I fell in love with this kid today when I watched his tape. On the hot piss meter, which we all know we love the hot piss meter, out of 50, right? Pass rush ability, 8.7. He's got elite acceleration and technique, great jump off the line. Run defense is a 7.6. He's got really solid anchor strength. His frame development is going to enhance that. So whenever he gets up to 270, 275, I think that's when he's going to be at his best version of himself. Versatility is an 8.3 because of that multi-sport background. And also he offers flexibility across the defensive line, inside and outside, in my opinion. Upside and potential is at an 8.5. He's a high ceiling kid, and with coaching and some physical growth, this kid could be an absolute monster, probably going to have a chance to play this year. Immediate impact I've got at 7.8. I think he's going to see rotational snaps, and he'll have the potential to contribute early. And I think as a freshman, it's going to depend on obviously some of the preseason stuff we're doing now, which everybody's on a dead period now as of today. But and then obviously the integration of Rich Rod and Coach Zach Alley, and what their assessments are based on whatever their data is and whatever they have, because obviously they have nothing in from last year to go off of, so it's brand new. With all that said, let's get to the tape. Taylor Brown, somebody I totally missed this cycle, and I'm apologizing for it right now because I would have been beating the drum right along with Cam Torber. As you guys know, Cam Torber, my favorite pickup from the freshman class. This kid right here can give him a run. All right. As you can see, straight away from the defensive tackle spot, he does one of my favorite moves right away. The club swim move, right? It's very, very, very simple technique that a lot of defensive tackles do. And I explain this on all of the shows that I do it on because whenever I play defensive line, I had a former collegiate football player as a coach, luckily. And so I learned a lot of these good techniques, but one of them is the club swim or the club rip. Two easy techniques that defensive line use. And it's a solid foundation for any defensive lineman, depending on which way you want to go, which way the lineman is leaning. In this case, if he's down blocking towards your right hip, You want to club with the left hand. You just want to send him in the direction he's going. And then you can either swim over or rip under, depending on, what's going on in the situation. So as you can see here, a real easy club swim over and a backfield loss. Real easy, right? You just use the guy's momentum against him, and that's it. Here you see him again on the outside. I'm sorry, he was inside. Just really quick, explosive. Once again. And there he is in the backfield again from the inside. Just another really good play. It looks like they have him on the offensive line there, which is interesting. This is a different tape that I watched earlier. All right, here is a good angle here from the inside. As you can see, the bull rush straight to the quarterback, and that's exactly how you teach it. So, obviously he's head-to-head with the guard here. Watching him just get into him with that bull rush, shed the block and get to the quarterback. Boom, leverage, right? You're right up under the guy's pads. This kid's already in a bad spot on his heels and standing straight up. He's got bend. He's got leverage. Get straight back there. Beautifully done. And you see he's at 6'3", 240, 250. The frame is there, and the quickness is there. So he's got a lot going for him. I would say in some ways he really reminds me of, trying to think. There's a couple guys you could go with. He's sort of like a Dante Stills, I think. He's got very similar qualities to a Dante Stills or maybe a Darius Stills, a 6'3", 6'4" kind of guy that's got really great quickness, can really shed blocks, as you can see here, and plays from the inside, but also has pass rush from the inside. It's not something you see every day. And you can see he's nasty too on these offensive tape snaps. I mean, he's really nasty. Look at this play. He knocks two guys down at the end. I mean, are you kidding me? And this is his junior year, by the way. Right here he is on the edge. So not only does he pick up the backer here, he pushes him all the way out of the frame almost into another guy that knocks him down. And I just want to show that one more time, not the play, but the very end. Look at the size of this kid. This is a big, strong kid, very wide arms, a ton of athletic ability. I just don't know how I've overlooked him, to be honest. I don't know how. I'm really embarrassed about it. I guess, there's so much coming in and going out. It's easy to do. Again, we got focused on, at a certain point in time, the portal guys, and I get that. But I'm really hard on myself. So, for me, this is my job. There's no way I should. And you guys know, I'm honest with you. If I make a mistake, I'm going to be honest about it. I'm not going to pretend like I could have jumped on here and pretended like I knew about him the whole way. But I'm not going to do that. I'm going to get on here and own it and say, look, I've overlooked this one. It's just how I believe life should be lived. After you live a life like I did, lying all the time, you learn really quick that's not the way. That quickness, man, I'll tell you. I mean, this kid can really shit it and get it. Really good player. He really reminds me of one of the Steels brothers in a lot of ways. There's the swim move again. I mean, just a beautiful swim. You can't teach it any better. So you see how I'm talking about this offensive line tries to down block on his left shoulder. And look, right away, he's got that left arm lifted up. He attacks the left shoulder. You can't touch me. Goes right over it. And then he's there in the backfield. Obviously, in college, it's not going to be that easy to do. But this is a kid. There's the swim. Okay, so there's the rip, but not the swim. So you've seen the swim twice. Now watch the rip. So obviously he's lined up on the edge here. The tight end that's a tackle, engages with him and just looks small. And he hits that right shoulder and rips right underneath it. See right there. See how the guy's trying to block him? And then that left arm right here is going underneath through the rip through and get around. Real easy stuff, but you can tell whether a kid's been coached or not. This is another rip, and he got held. Oh, that's not him. Never mind. I was like, what happened? Oh, sorry, guys. I guess I was looking at the wrong place. But this kid here did the rip too. So you can see their entire defensive line got taught this. Now, where is he? Okay, he came on a stun or something. Okay, I see. He's right here. He did the rip too. He just did it way better. His teammate got held. So anyway, Taylor Brown, guys, a kid that I'm really impressed with. Hopefully you are too. Let's go to break really quick. On the other side, we'll continue to talk about some other things. My final thoughts for the episode. We'll be right back on Locked On West Virginia. Stick around. It's segment 3. We've got a cream soda Dr. P. It's got to rhyme. It's got to rhyme. That's rule number 1. All right, so that's Taylor Brown. That's his junior year. I really want to watch his senior year bad. Hopefully nobody doesn't mind that. But
this is the story of the one.
I just want to see what he looks like in his senior season here. Obviously, this is at this point going on 2.5 years ago. This was published on January 6th. I'm assuming 2024 probably. So go back this that's after the season, so a full 2 years ago, right? So some of these plays were made for him. So let's see what it looks like. I ain't got nothing to do to you. All right, here he is, interior. Very good picture on this one. And right away, he's coming up with the underneath rip move. You know, he uses it a lot, guys. I'm a big fan of guys that use these moves because they work. They're simple, but they work, as you can see right there. See that shoulder come under? That's it. That's the rip. It's so simple, but it's literally just get off me, right? That's all it is. But you wouldn't believe how many guys don't utilize this and try to. Sometimes guys will use their length and try to disengage you, and some of that can work for guys. But if you're a guy that's got shorter arms or you're just powerful, Reggie White used these all the time. You just rip through. And then the quickness to catch up to a kid that's much faster than he should be much faster. He's so quick off the line. So quick off the line. Go back a little more there. I just the quickness to get there, man. You know, like he reminds me of Dante in a lot of ways. If I were going to promote him, that's probably what I would promote him as is the next a very similar Dante Stills. Now, he's not as quick as Dante Stills. I'm not saying that, but he's got some of that in his game. Maybe more like Darius. Holy cow, what a play there. This is the footage I saw earlier, by the way, because I can tell from these uniforms here. So I was watching senior year on YouTube or wherever I watched it. Here he is at guard, I'm assuming. Nice pull. Oh, yeah. Nice. It's pretty crazy. This kid probably could have played D1 ball at guard as well. I mean, you look at this pull and look at the athleticism getting around. I mean, there's a reason he's just a tad undersized. So, you know, that's a big reason. But as an O lineman, man, he is impressive as well on some of these. So I'm sure he had offers at O line. I would love to ask him. But, you know, I'm assuming he's probably gained weight. He's only 250, right? So that's another thing. Like, he's just too small to play. I mean, you could play FCS, maybe low FBS ball, but generally, like, it's just a bit undersized. I mean, you this kid at 6'3", 300, maybe he play guard, but he's just a little bit too undersized. So I like him on defensive line. Here he just destroys a double team. You know how hard it is to hold your ground against a double team like this. So he's got two guys pushing on him. One guy's pushing this way, one guy's pushing that way. This guy's got to work up to the backer so this kid can get a hole, but it never goes that far, right? Look, he anchors in this kid, he just rips off of him. This kid's pushing him from behind, and he just completely clogs the hole up and says no. And he makes that play for the defense. So, Big Taylor Brown, going to be a fun watch this year, guys. And like I said, as a pass rusher, I think he's got some intriguing ability as well because of that quickness. So we'll continue to see just exactly. I don't know why they showed that play, but we'll continue to see exactly what he's going to be and look like because he's got a lot of potential. So hope you guys enjoyed this one. We're gonna get off here after this one here. Unless you guys want to watch, let's see how many people are in here. We got 150 people watching. Are you what are you asking, John? What is the club swim move? Are you trying to get me to do it again? Are you trolling me a little bit? Just curious. Just curious. If you are, that's fine, but I'll explain it again for you, John. The club swim move. The club swim move is all it is whenever you club one shoulder pad or the other, whichever side that you're wanting to use to your advantage. And then once you club it, you go over it, right? With the swim move. Basically, it's making a guy do this. If you club it hard enough. Or if you're Reggie White, before they outlawed it, he used to hit that hole on the helmet, and it would absolutely rattle somebody's cage, man. And you wouldn't have to do much after that. He would wear those really heavily taped. His hands look like there are two casts sometimes, and he would just club people right upside the head. It's crazy, man. Crazy stuff. I'm kind of feeling maybe 5 or 10 more minutes on here, and let's just pick somebody at random that we can watch. Maybe like a who would you guys want to watch here from the freshmen? Let's go with I'm kind of torn. We've already watched the receivers. We watched Max Brown. We watched Scotty Fox, Philip Bowser, Brandon Hominy, Trevor Bigelow, Brandon Caesar. We watched Wilson Telemack. We watched Taylor Brown. We watched. I've watched Carter Zuliani. I don't want to go there because I got in trouble last time I did his video. I'm not a big fan of his, unfortunately. I don't want to be mean to the kid. He could turn it. I hope he turns into an all-pro player. I really do. I don't care if I don't believe in somebody. That doesn't mean I don't want him to win. Like I do. Let's go with Julian Horton. Let's watch a little Julian Horton really quick. This is totally blind. I haven't studied on him since he committed. So, at the end of the day, I know a little about him enough to where I could do a quick breakdown if I wanted to. I know he's from North Carolina, 3-star kid. But outside of that, not a whole lot else coming to the memory banks. I know he's a bigger corner from what I remember. Let's see here. All right, he played safety for Bel Air High, which is pretty funny. This is the story all about how. So obviously, 3-star kid. So he ranks similarly amongst all three major composites here. Chose West Virginia over, a lot of offers. Colorado, Duke, Georgia Tech, Indiana, Maryland, Michigan, Minnesota, North Carolina, Pitt, Syracuse, Vanderbilt. Shadon Brown, well, he's not here anymore. So I do remember some of these pictures too that I'm seeing now. Okay, cool. Well, let's check one out. All right. We there, baby. All right. Let's share the screen really quick. Probably have to wait for an
For
ad.
working traffic in Ashland or
All right. Hit that button so hard it's got a Band-Aid on it. Appreciate it, brother. Yeah, if you guys could like the video really quick, please. Subscribe if you're new around here, and I appreciate it. So let's just watch a couple plays on Julian Horton here. Nice looking kid here. All right. Here he is at running back. Interesting. Oh, nice move there. So maybe he's got some pump and kick return in him, huh? Wow, that's impressive stuff. That's actually pretty good. Pretty good. All right, here's the defense. All right, so this kid's 6 feet tall. He's definitely got good speed. Obviously, you can see that right away. Good contact balance as well. Pretty cool. Here he is in run support. Shed that block and made a great tackle. Nicely done. Looks like he picked up a fumble here or something. I'm not exactly sure, but really good speed here down the sideline. Takes pretty long strides. Nice. We'll take that all day. Here he is coming up and run support again. Yes, nicely done. So early on, obviously, athletically, I think that's the thing that's jumping out. There's a face mask. And then he threw the flag too. This kid's good with the ball in his hands. Holy cow. This is another one when I look at it and say, this kid had to have some offers to play offense. Now, I'm not saying power 4. You know, it's tough because I don't know. You go into some of these, you don't know what competition they're playing against, right? Obviously, in Maryland, it's pretty good. Definitely not terrible competition in Maryland. Absolutely. But I can automatically see for sure that this kid has skill with the ball in his hands. Now, does he project to do more as a corner? Yes, he does. But I can't say that I'm not impressed with the offense because I am. Matter of fact, I would put this kid on kick return right away and see what he could do. But I mean, the closing speed right there was really impressive. Absolutely. Very, very, very aggressive hit. Very good closing speed. Here he is on kick return. This is exactly where I would put him for sure if I were Rich Rod and them. He's got a great knack with the ball in his hands, and then he's got really good speed as well. Hell, I might even try him out at receiver or something because this kid's got some dynamite to him. Yeah, this kid's a player, man. I really like some of the guys they brought in. I know that this kid was a Neil Brown kid. Here he is at receiver, just outrunning everybody. I know this is a Neil Brown guy and all that, but you know, Shadon Brown, if you will. But I mean, good on them for keeping this kid in the class. I think there's a reason they did. I can't say that I'm not impressed with him. He is impressive. I don't know. You know, just thinking out loud, I don't know what position they're going to play him in. I'm assuming, you know, he's probably going to play safety. But at the end of the day, man, this is a kid I think you could put back on. You can use him in a bunch of different ways. Punt, kick return. That makes him valuable. You could probably put him in on some offensive packages as well. I mean, it's not like he's like every play you see on here is impressive. It's not like he's just straight line fast. Like he cuts in and out. He does the whole thing. He's got really good speed. I'm honestly kind of surprised he didn't get recruited more as a receiver as well. Now, but that means he's going to have really good hands as a corner for sure. I don't know how, you know, when you got a kid that's good at both like this, I don't know how you make the decision on which position to play him because, I mean, if you told me this kid was picked up as Uh, as an offensive player, I probably wouldn't bat an eye. He's really talented on both. There have to be reasons as to why he's not chosen offensively. Sometimes he just projects a little better as a corner or safety. And this is the part of the evaluation game that gives me trouble because if you're looking at this objectively, overall, I've probably been as impressed with him on offense as I have defense. It's been close. It's not like he's so much better on defense that that I'm not. I mean, you look at some of the stuff he's doing here on offense, it's pretty wild. I don't know, man. I don't know why guys make the decisions they do. But at the end of the day, we've got him in on defense. Maybe Rich Rod has talked about playing guys both ways. Maybe he's one of them. I don't know. Certainly it can happen. We know that. Here he is on offense again, getting the ball. I mean, nice cut up. He played at receiver. He played running back there. He's not at all, didn't he? He was their whole team pretty much. Um, Very interesting, man. Definitely, definitely interesting. Hey, what's up, Lifted Diesel? I'm assuming that's Shaq, or is that Lifted Diesel? Is that somebody? Is that Shaq? Used to be Shaq in the chat room. I mean, um, yeah, interesting, man. Okay, so I appreciate y'all for joining in. I got to run. Overall, guys, interesting episode. Obviously, we talked about Marshall fans. So as you know, it's a Sunday. I figured that was you. Okay. Um, we talked about some Marshall fans. We talked about a freshman to watch for West Virginia. We actually watched two. Let's see how they impact the field this year. Taylor Brown, especially, very impressed with his tape. Think he's going to be a good player. I'll see you guys on the next one. Thanks for making Locked On West Virginia your first listen and for being a part of the Locked On Podcast Network. We talk about your team, the Mountaineers, every single day. And I'll see you guys tomorrow. As you know, 7 days a week, we try to do this thing. I'll be going on vacation pretty soon, so I don't know how I'm going to handle that. I'll probably pre-record a few videos. As you guys know, I'm going to Utah to meet the BYU team. Coach Sataki, going to LaVell Edwards Stadium, going to the bowels of LaVell Edwards Stadium, and meeting the team, meeting the coach, and interviewing them. And then I'm going to go around Provo and see all the sites. I did a brand deal with the county commissioner's office there in Utah, and they are paying for it all, baby. They're giving me pretty good money to come up there. They're paying for. I'm driving up, by the way. I think it's a 29-hour drive. But I'm looking forward to it. I love driving across the country. I've driven to California 3 different times. So looking forward to this. I need it. I need to get away for my mental health. And, I'm probably going to have some pre-recorded videos for you guys ready. I've got to figure out what they're going to be on because I don't really want to have to worry about recording while I'm gone. And I don't want to take the days off either. So it's either I'm going to have to record at night in the hotel whenever I get stopped in the first couple of days. And then, beyond that at the hotel where I'm staying, or pre-record some episodes, just have them ready to go just for those hard times, for those, 5-6 days I'll be gone. And then we'll come back and do that. So I don't know yet, but what I'm going to be doing is exactly, hey, listen, I promise you that's a lot to do with it. Here's the thing too. 1 out of every 10,000 planes crash. I don't know what the number is, but let's say it's 1 out of every 10,000. If you're on one of those 10, you've got a 99.9% dying for sure, So, and I don't know if it's that high or not, but I don't even want to put myself in that scenario. I've flown on planes many times. It's safe. But with the way things are these days, I would rather just drive it, man, and enjoy the scenery that God created, and that's it, right? But yeah, so what I'll be doing though is I'll be recording that entire trip. It'll be in a kind of like, have you ever seen IRL streamers? Or like Traveling Fools or something like that, like where it's probably going to be some stuff set to music. Some of it's going to be me commentating over it. Like I probably won't be in the frame a bunch on some of it. But it's going to be basically a West Virginia fan lost in Provo, Utah. Is probably how I'm going to label it. Make sure you guys show up for that because I'm going to put a lot of work into that video. So I'm hoping I can promote it right so that enough people watch. Might have to release it in parts. Not sure exactly yet how long it's going to be. Try to edit it down. I'm going to get a nice camera, a GoPro or something to take with me, and hopefully have fun doing that. So that's coming up next month on, I think it's the 16th. So we got a couple weeks, but we're going to take you with us. So we'll have fun with it. Until then, guys, I'll see you on the next one. Have a great rest of your Sunday. Monday starts tomorrow. Tomorrow comes. I'm out.